Hello, everybody. So we are going to go over some basics of showing that triangles are congruent. This is all material that you definitely have had. Most people pick this up and are really excited about it because they've seen it before and they know it, and it's good to go. So we're going to go over these really quickly. This should be a review. And ooh, there's some practice on the back. Okay, so here we go. So two figures are congruent if they have like all the same, let me open my pen, all the same sides and all the same angles. Okay, we know this for sure. If they have all the same sides, all the same angles, we know that they're the same shape. This works for not just triangles, but all shapes. Now, specifically for triangles, there are 5 ways that we can show that two triangles are congruent. The first way you should know is side, side, side. Okay, so if you have two triangles with all the same side lengths, there's only one way to stick that together. Maybe one is a rotation or a reflection of another, but there's only one way to stick all 3 of those sticks together, okay? So the two triangles are congruent. I'm going to use this symbol, congruent. If all 3 sides of one triangle are congruent to all 3 sides of another triangle. Okay. For example, maybe I have triangle A, B, C, and then we are given that triangle DEF has these sides that are congruent. So that means that this side corresponds to this side in this triangle. This side corresponds to this side, and this side corresponds to this side. These 3 triangles are the same because we have 3 corresponding pairs of sides. The next one is going to be side angle side. Now, the order of this is important. We can't have side, side, angle. Angle has to be between the 2 sides. This has to be the same for the picture as well. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the picture first. Okay. Maybe we have A, B, C, and D, E, F. Okay. And this angle, notice, is the same. They have the same marking inside the angle. And then we have 2 pairs of congruent sides. Okay. And those sides are on either side of that yellow angle we drew right there. Okay. So we know that side angle side will be true for this. Okay. So this happens when 2 triangles are congruent. Oops. If 2 sides and the angle between them are congruent. Okay, between can also, and so the between, like this, that's the yellow angle that I put an arc in, okay, right here and right there. Between may also be phrased as included. Okay, not that you'll see it on an EOC, but that's another way to say it. So you may see that on something, okay? The next one is angle side angle. Okay. 2 triangles are congruent if 2 angles and the side between them are congruent. So again, we can't have like angle, angle, side. We have to have the side in between the 2 angles. Triangles are congruent if 2 angles and the side between them are congruent. Okay, so I'm going to draw out our two triangles again. We have A, B, C, and D, E, F. So in this case, the thing that's in the middle or between or included is the side. So maybe we have this side and this side congruent. Okay, and then we have the angles on either side of those congruent. So A congruent to D and C congruent to F. Okay, so I guess I can. So A and D correspond and are congruent, and C and F correspond and are congruent. Okay. All right. And then the last, oh, nope, not the last one. Angle, angle side is the next one. Okay. So two triangles are congruent if two angles and the non-included side are congruent. Okay, so this means that the not included means that it's going to be on the end. It's not in between them. It's we have like an angle, and then another side in a order. Okay, so ooh, I made it ugly. A, B, C, and then D, E, F, D, E, F. And we would have A congruent to D, B congruent to F, and then this side right here is not included because it's not in between those two angles, although if it were, that would be the one above it and it would work. But these two are congruent. Okay, so the non-included piece means not between, okay? It's at the end, okay? So you have like an angle, and then an angle, and then a side afterwards. Okay, lastly, we have hypotenuse leg. Okay. Okay, this is only for right triangles. If you forgot what that means, that is a triangle with a 90-degree angle in it. Okay, so if one leg and the hypotenuse are congruent to the leg, this is long, sorry, and hypotenuse of another right triangle, then they are congruent. Okay, so we would have right triangle, right triangle. Okay, that indicates that they're right triangles. The legs are the things that are not the hypotenuse. So each right triangle has two legs. The hypotenuse is always across from the right angle, okay? And so maybe they have the legs congruent and then the hypotenuse congruent for each one, okay? It could be the other leg congruent. That would be fine too, okay? You cannot use angle side side or side side angle to prove triangles are congruent. Also angle, angle, angle cannot prove that triangles are congruent. Angle, angle, angle can prove that they're similar, but not that they're congruent. Okay, they could be off by a scale factor of something, but have all the same angle measurements. Okay, so now on the back, there's a bunch of practice. I'm going to do two of them with you, and then I want you guys to do the rest of them on your own. I'm going to post the full solution just try to do them on your own before you actually check the solution. Okay, so let's do the top two. So it says, are these triangles congruent? If so, by what condition? So notice we have an angle, a side, and an angle here. So that could work as long as we have an angle, the same a side in between the two angles and the other one. I've forgotten how to talk. I'm sorry. So we have angle, side, angle. As long as we have two angles congruent in the next one, where a side is in between them, then we should be good to go. Notice we have angle, side, angle again here. And so this should work. So angle, side, angle. Yes, these are congruent. Okay. And then in the next one, actually, I'm going to do a different one because the next one is so similar. Let's jump down to this one right here. Okay. So PQR and then USP or TUS. So notice we have angle here, angle there. These two angles are congruent, and then these two angles are congruent. Okay, so maybe I'll mark them. So these two have the same marking. These two have the same marking, and then these two have the same marking. Okay, now notice this means that all three angles are the same, but we haven't done anything with this side at all. So this means that they are not necessarily congruent. They could be similar, but they are similar, but they are not congruent. Okay, so there's two of them. We have one where it was congruent, one where it wasn't congruent. Go ahead and try the rest of them, and then you guys can check your solutions in the solutions file attached. All right, thanks, guys.